if there's any traders listening, they're going to really understand that moment.
Yeah,
There's something about that.
yeah,
I think
I
on a
actually blame.
there
Yeah,
will be the secrets of trainers, just to show things you should know. I love these stories.
Yeah. I actually blame the other trainer because they were obviously late.
Well, absolutely.
We're training. Like, there's a moment as a trainer that you're like, do I just keep going? Like,
maybe they want us to instead.
Yeah.
I know this topic. I can train this as well. I like it when they don't know that they're in the right room. So I've done it where I've been delivering and they're like, what's change management? This is not agile. And you're like, no, but you've been here 2 days. It's too late. So now that the listeners know a little bit more about you guys as characters, as individuals, as personalities, I think we want to dive in a little bit about projects. So this is going to be a quick fire round, so you're going to have to finish this sentence, all of you. So this sentence goes, in my experience, projects fail because ... This is a really good question, Claire. So finish the sentence. In my experience, projects fail because ...
Teams don't have a shared purpose, so they don't know why they're all getting up in the morning.
Oh, okay, I hear you. That's interesting. Okay, so teams don't have a shared. Okay, I like that. That's good. Yeah, okay. All right, fire round to Roz. Okay, in my experience, projects fail ...
Because people underestimate the importance of effective communication and collaboration. So similar theme to Claire, really.
Oh, complementary, definitely.
Yeah. So I think what's interesting is you're both from different sectors, and yet you've picked basically the same thing. But communication, collaboration, teams. That's nice. Okay, Andy, in your experience, projects fail because.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it might follow a similar theme. I'm not sure, but from my experience, what comes up a lot is people often plan, to various different degrees, I would say. But what they often don't do is discuss the unknowns. Really focusing on the potential risks and issues which might come their way. Because of course they've gone away on their week's long course, everything's going to go perfect. But of course, in the real world, that doesn't happen at times. So I think thinking about the unknowns and what can go wrong and looking ahead, probably.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And there, again, I feel those are really interesting points, actually, and sometimes often overlooked. So I liked that. And what's nice is there's a commonality between those. So that's very cool. All right. So I'm now going to break these questions off individually. So I want us to think about the listeners who are thinking about going on project management training. They've never gone on it before, or they have, didn't love it as much, or even they need to upskill onto another qualification. So Andy, why did you get into project management training?
Okay, that's interesting. Well, for me it came a little bit natural because I'd started my career off many years ago. You can tell from the grey hair. Firstly, as a practitioner. And I was in an organisation where when you learned to do something and you became efficient of it, you were then a natural mentor or a natural coach to other people who were then coming into those similar roles. So the project management side and the development side kind of grew in tandem, if you like, and throughout the different roles that I've had through security, health and safety, leadership and management, and those things, my roles have always been problem solving, trying to fix things, negotiating, getting people to do stuff, all those things. And guess what? That's all project management skills. So for me, it was a natural fit to move into project management as a profession. And my background with the training and development kind of complemented it. And I thought moving into development world is a really good way to learn from others, but also to be able to help and develop others, which I think I mentioned before is probably my true passion. And that's why I turned my hand to actually helping people and consulting with it for training and development and management consultancy.
Brilliant. I think that's really nice because I think often There is a misnomer that when you're about to sit on one of those project management courses, I know my clients say the same thing every week, I'm going to get someone who's really boring, that they're just going to say the stuff out loud, and it's just going to be really minimal interaction. So it's really important that new project managers know they're going to meet somebody like Andy who actually cares about project management, has done it, and is going to bring it to life, and that if you are a project manager and you love it, you might also become a trainer in it. So that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome. Okay, but some of our listeners might not care about project management. Instead, they might be all about benefit management. They might have heard it in the wind. They might already. They might not know anything about it, but somebody important mentioned it on another podcast. Claire, tell me, what makes benefit management so sexy?
Well, the reason it's sexy to me is because it's a license for me to stick my nose into everything.
Ooh.
Everybody knows I'm a bit of a nosy bugger. I like to know what's going on. And because benefits are the reason why we do stuff. We don't build bridges because we like building bridges. We build bridges because people use them. They go to work on them. They move goods on them. And so benefits management for me is sexy because it is the whole reason and purpose for doing anything.
I like that. Oh, I'm
World
giving
domination.
up my phone and going into benefit. You can't
you
be
could.
at
Come to
I
the dark side. We have chocolate biscuits.
Yeah, I mean, let's not even bring that. Okay, so we've looked at the listeners that might be interested in project management. From a learning point of view, we've looked at people that might be interested in benefit management. What about those practitioners who don't need to go through a training course and actually want much more intensive, much more long-term support? So this next question is going to Roz. Roz, what makes coaching project professionals so rewarding?
Oh, there's so many things that make the role rewarding, and it doesn't matter whether I'm coaching somebody who's brand new to the role or somebody who's more experienced. It's always a really rewarding process. But to give a specific example, I recently facilitated a coaching session with a young apprentice project manager who's been an apprentice for about 15 months now. And originally when I started supporting him on his learning journey, he couldn't ever perceive himself as a project manager. He felt like an imposter. He didn't have the knowledge and skills, and he certainly didn't have the confidence to view himself as being a project manager. And through those regular intensive coaching sessions and getting him to identify and talk about and discuss the work that he's doing on a day-to-day basis, he's grown so much in confidence in himself, in his own ability. And at the most recent coaching session we had, it was a bit like a light bulb moment. I could see him, he was talking about himself in the first person, referring to himself as a project manager, and a blooming effective one at that. And that is so rewarding when you get somebody who is faced with a challenge that they don't know how to overcome, or they're faced with a situation where they just feel overwhelmed and don't feel they've got the skills to tackle that problem, to draw something out of those people and make them realize, you've got this, you're already great, let's use the skills you've already got and enhance those and develop new skills. So yeah, that's what I love about coaching, is taking people through that journey of, I don't know what I'm doing, to actually I do, and I'm doing it really well.
I think that's brilliant. I wonder, I know that you coach managers, not just new project managers, and I know you coach C-suite. Do you think it's any different? Do you think they also go through that, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what do they go through the same?
I think if we put our hand on our hearts, everybody feels like that at times. No matter how long you've worked in a particular job role, you're always going to have moments where you encounter something, a situation that's completely new that you haven't encountered before, and you think, I don't know what to do here. And actually, I think if ever you get to a point in your career where you don't feel like there's anything left to learn, then that's quite a dangerous place to be. There's always something new to learn. So yeah, even coaching the most experienced people, managers, owners of businesses, you know, if they can appreciate the fact that, you know, that they might be able to glean some nuggets of information, or even just going through that process of talking through a problem, and me being able to talk, you know, to draw the skills out of them, to show them you have already got the tools you need to overcome this problem. Let me just remind you that you've got those skills and show you how you can apply them to this current situation.
Wow,
Love
Ross,
that.
that's so rewarding.
Mm.
Let's take that thread then. So Ross just said that at any point in a project manager, or in every professional person's experience, there's going to come a point in which you don't know what to do. So my next question is to all of you. Do we think that there is a gap between the project management theory, so things like Prince2, Agile, Lean Six Sigma, change management, benefit management, better business cases, I could go on, there's so many, BA, do we think that there's a gap between those, you know, 5-day to 4-day accredited exam-based qualifications from foundation to practitioner to real life experience? So do we think there's a gap between the theory and the practice of actually doing? So I'm going to ask that to Claire.
Absolutely, there is. Yeah. I see people all the time who've been on the managing benefits qualification, and it's a valuable qualification. There's a heck of a lot of detail in it. And they come out of that and they've learned, for instance, the 4 different types of benefits map, and what they would use a benefits map for, and they've never actually drawn one. And you think, how can you possibly understand it and understand when to use which type if you've never tried to draw one? So all these courses are great. The qualifications, yeah, they impart a lot of knowledge. They don't impart experience. And it's only when you actually experience how to use a technique that's mentioned in one of these qualifications that you can really call yourself a benefits manager or a project manager.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love that. I really feel that. Yeah. Ross, same question. So do you agree? Do you think there's a gap between the theory and the actual practical experience of doing?
Yeah, massively. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really do believe very strongly in the value of professional qualifications, otherwise I wouldn't deliver them. You know, as I've said previously, they're quite often the gateway into a career as a project manager, so I'm not trying to take away the value or discredit, you know, the process of going through a professional qualification. However, one important thing to remember is none of those qualifications, none of those methodologies, whether it's Prince, Agile, APM, PMI, none of them claim to be, you know, the recipe for project success. None of those methodologies say if you follow this method and use all of these tools and techniques, your project will be successful. But none of them claim to do that. They just provide us with a toolkit that we might like to try and apply to exercise control over a project. But projects are uncontrollable beasts. They're not always going to be the same. Each project is different. You're going to encounter different challenges on each project. So yeah, I think it's valuable to have those qualifications, but you have to realize when you go into a career of project management that every day is a school day. You're always going to learn something new. Every new project's going to bring with it its own experiences, challenges, and lessons to be learned. So yeah, you can't confine learning project management to a classroom. It's got to be something that you realize I'm going to have to continually develop my own skills, you know, expand my own knowledge and experience, and roll with the punches.
Love it. Yeah, very true. Well said. I think that as a lot of people listening to this are going to feel a little bit better about themselves, actually. I know I am.
Yeah, absolutely.